The Quest of Sita.
In the peaceful village of Loma, the elder, Baba Mosa, is respected and beloved by all. He is the keeper of ancient knowledge, the one who guides the villagers with wisdom and compassion. On a day meant for celebration, tragedy strikes. Baba Mosa is bitten by a mystical serpent while near the river. The serpent's scales gleam unnaturally, and it vanishes as quickly as it appeared. News of the elder's condition spreads quickly, stirring fear among the villagers. Many gather around his home, worried and desperate for a miracle. Sita, a young girl who shares a special bond with Baba Mosa, feels a pang of grief as she watches him suffer. Memories of his gentle guidance fill her mind. He had always encouraged her curiosity, teaching her about the plants and animals in the forest, sparking a deep love for the world around her. Now, she feels helpless, watching as the elder's strength fades before her eyes. The villagers do everything they can to heal Baba Mosa. Local healers bring herbs and ointments, chanting protective spells and offering prayers. They gather by his side, their hands clasped in hope. Yet their remedies seem powerless against the serpent's mystical venom. As days pass, Baba Mosa's condition worsens, and a heavy despair begins to cloud the hearts of the villagers. Ceda overhears a conversation among the healers, who speak of a rare herb known as Oyla, rumored to be the only antidote for the serpent's bite. The herb grows in the heart of the jungle, a place feared by many for its wild and unpredictable nature. Hearing this, Ceda feels a surge of determination rise within her. She knows the journey will be dangerous, but the thought of doing nothing while Baba Mosa slips away is unbearable. Ceda resolves to set out on this quest, convinced that her love for the elder and her courage will guide her. Ceda approaches her family with her plan, but they are shocked and horrified by the idea.
The jungle is dangerous, filled with wild beasts. Many have never returned.
It's too risky, Sita. Please, reconsider.
As the sun rises, casting golden rays over the village, Sita embarks on her journey. The familiar sounds of her village soon fade, replaced by the dense sounds of the forest. The jungle's lush greenery surrounds her, tall trees stretching into the sky, and vines thick with life tangling around her path. The air is rich with the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers, yet every shadow seems to hold an unknown threat. Ceda recalls Baba Mosa's words about the jungle and its inhabitants, that each creature has a spirit, a role, and a purpose. She feels his presence with her, giving her strength as she ventures deeper. The sounds of birds and rustling leaves fill her ears, and despite her fear, she feels a strange sense of belonging here. She senses that the jungle is alive, watching her closely, testing her courage. Ceda's first true challenge arrives sooner than expected. She reaches a wide, fast-flowing river known as the River of Doubt. Villagers have long avoided it, believing it to be guarded by spirits that test travelers. Ceda's heart races as she stares at the swirling currents, unsure of how she'll cross. The water is deep, dark, and daunting, with jagged rocks visible under the surface. Remembering Baba Mosa's advice to face her fears, she searches for a way across. She notices a fallen log bridging part of the river. It's slick with moss and barely stable, but it's her only choice. Taking a deep breath, she steps onto the log, carefully balancing as she moves forward, each step bringing her closer to the other side. The log shifts beneath her weight, and at one point, she slips, but holds on to a log to keep her steady. With one last push, she reaches the other side, her heart pounding with relief and a newfound confidence that fuels her journey forward. As Ceda moves deeper into the jungle, the shadows grow longer and the air becomes thicker and humid. She starts hearing faint whispers echoing through the trees, almost as if the jungle is speaking. Every so often, she stops, straining to hear the voices, but they fade each time she tries to listen. The whispers seem to grow louder the closer she gets to the jungle's heart, where she hopes to find the Oyla herb, The voices make her uneasy, yet she presses on, knowing she can't let fear distract her. To calm herself, she recalls Baba Mosa's teachings about the forest spirits, reminding herself that they mean no harm to those who respect the jungle's balance. As night falls, Ceda finds shelter beneath a large tree and rests, though the jungle's mysterious whispers follow her into her dreams. In the morning, Ceda awakens to find a shimmering bird watching her. With an encouraging chirp, it leads her through the jungle. She follows, sensing that the jungle is guiding her. As she follows it, the bird leads her through thick underbrush and across winding paths, always staying just within sight. It pauses from time to time, allowing her to catch up, almost as if it understands her limits. Ceda finds herself feeling grateful, sensing that the jungle is providing her with a guide. She whispers her thanks to the bird, feeling a sense of connection with the jungle that she hadn't before. Around midday, the bird suddenly flies off, leaving Ceda in a small clearing. As she catches her breath, she notices a small animal, a young antelope, trapped in a tangle of vines, struggling to free itself. Her heart aches at its plight, and she approaches carefully, speaking softly to calm it. The animal's eyes are wide with fear, but Ceda gently untangles the vines, giving it room to move. Once freed, the antelope stares at her for a moment, as if acknowledging her kindness, before darting back into the trees. Ceda watches it disappear, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. In that moment, she realizes that the jungle isn't just testing her strength and bravery, but also her compassion. She whispers a small prayer of gratitude for the lesson, feeling more connected to her quest. As she continues, Ceda reaches a dense part of the jungle known to the villagers as the Valley of Shadows. This area is known for its dark canopy, with towering trees that block out the sun, casting the valley in an eerie twilight. The air is thick, and each step feels heavy. Her heart races as her vision adjusts to the dimness, but she forces herself forward, determined not to be deterred by fear. Suddenly, a strange mist rises from the ground, swirling around her and creating shadows that twist and shift. The shadows take on shapes, some familiar, others monstrous. Ceda's heart pounds as her fears rise to the surface, each shadow reflecting her doubts and insecurities. She nearly turns back, but her resolve is strong, and she remembers Baba Mosa's words.
Strength comes from within.
With her mind focused on her mission, she passes through the valley, her courage bolstered by her purpose. After leaving the Valley of Shadows, Ceda finds herself face to face with a massive, ancient tree with gnarled roots twisting into the earth like claws. The air around it feels heavy, filled with a spiritual presence that makes her pause. As she steps closer, she feels a sense of awe, as though the tree is alive and watching her. She places her hand on its rough bark and feels a gentle warmth, as if the tree is responding to her touch. In that moment, Ceda feels a rush of memories that aren't her own. She sees flashes of Baba Mosa as a young man, learning from the spirits of the jungle. She feels his love for the forest, his respect for its mysteries. The tree seems to whisper to her, guiding her forward on her journey. Ceda thanks the spirit of the tree, vowing,
I will protect the jungle and its wisdom,
and continues on her way, feeling more connected to her quest than ever. Ceda encounters a wise-looking tortoise with intricate markings. An ancient tortoise blocks her path. With wise eyes, he warns her of the jungle's many dangers.
Not all who enter these woods leave with what they seek.
I need to find the Oyla herb to save Baba Mosa.
The tortoise listens intently and finally nods, offering her advice.
Patience and respect will guide you.
He says, before lumbering off into the underbrush. Grateful for his wisdom, Ceda reflects on his words as she continues her journey.
That night, as Ceda rests by a small clearing, she hears faint drum beats echoing through the trees. The sound is rhythmic and almost hypnotic, luring her attention. Curiosity overcomes her as she rises and follows the sound, hoping it may lead her closer to her destination. The drums grow louder, guiding her deeper into the jungle under the light of the moon. Eventually, she stumbles upon a small gathering of spirits dancing around a fire, playing drums made of wood and animal hide. The spirits are peaceful, moving gracefully in harmony with the music. They don't seem to notice her presence, but Ceda watches, captivated by their ethereal beauty. As she stands there, the spirits offer her a sense of peace and calm, a reminder of the jungle's beauty and power. When the drum beats fade, she returns to her resting spot, feeling both comforted and rejuvenated. The next day, Ceda hears the thunderous sound of a waterfall nearby. Following the sound, she arrives at a majestic waterfall cascading into a crystal-clear pool below. She feels the cool mist on her face and takes a moment to drink from the pool, grateful for the refreshment. But as she looks up, she sees a shimmering figure within the falls, a water spirit watching her with a gentle smile. As Ceda moves away from the waterfall, she encounters a mischievous monkey perched on a tree branch, watching her with bright, clever eyes. The monkey introduces himself as Zaki, the trickster of the jungle. He grins and offers her a deal.
I will lead you to the Oyla herb in exchange for a riddle.
Eager for any help, Ceda agrees. Zaki poses a riddle.
What grows tall but always bows, greets you with green but hides in shadow?
Ceda ponders, her mind racing, until she realizes the answer.
The bamboo.
Zaki laughs, I'm delighted, and agrees to guide her. But halfway through, he vanishes, leaving her alone. Frustrated yet amused, Ceda realizes that Zaki's presence was merely a reminder that not all in the jungle can be trusted. She continues onward, wiser and more cautious. As she continued walking, she heard an animal growling. She was so scared that she started running, but unfortunately, she ran into a growling lion. She panicked initially, but remembered what Baba Mosa once told her about being brave and conquering one's fears. As dusk falls, Ceda feels the air grow thick with anticipation. She senses a powerful presence watching her, and soon a figure emerges from the shadows, a tall, cloaked guardian with markings that resemble the forest itself. His voice is deep and resonant, carrying authority and power. He is Omari, guardian of the jungle's heart, and he has come to test her resolve. Thanks for watching, and watch out for part 2. Will Ceda prove her worth to Omari by completing a series of tasks that represent strength, compassion, and courage? Will she make it out of the forest? Will she get the Oyla herb to save Baba Mosa? Will Baba Mosa survive? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell to get notified when we post.